Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Yamuna Ramanachari Yamuna Ramanachari Yamuna Jaya Radha Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Kunja Bihari Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Bhagavad Gita, verse 15.6. Na tad bhāsayate sūryo,
Na tad bhāsayate sūryo,
na śaśāṅko na pāvakaḥ,
na śaśāṅko na pāvakaḥ,
yad gatvā na nivartante,
yad gatvā na nivartante,
tad dhāma paramam mama,
tad dhāma paramam mama.
yad na tad bhāsate sūryo,
Na tad bhāsayate sūryo,
na śaśāṅko na pāvakaḥ,
na śaśāṅko na pāvakaḥ,
yad gatvā na nivartante,
yad gatvā na nivartante,
tad dhāmam paramam mama.
tad dhāma paramam mama.
न तद्भासयते सूर्यो
Na tad bhāsayate sūryo,
न शशाङ्को न पावकः
na śaśāṅko na pāvakaḥ,
यद्गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते
yad gatvā na nivartante,
तद्धाम परमं मम
tad dhāma paramam mama.
Mataji.
Na tad bhāsayate sūryo, na śaśāṅko na pāvakaḥ, yad gatvā na nivartante, tad dhāma paramam mama.
Synonyms. Na,
Na,
not.
not,
Tat,
tad,
that.
that.
Bhāsayate,
Bhāsayate,
illuminates.
illuminates.
Sūryo,
Sūrya,
the sun.
the sun.
Na,
Na,
nor.
nor.
Śaśāṅkaḥ,
śaśāṅkaḥ,
the moon.
the moon.
Na,
Na,
nar.
nor.
Pāvakaḥ,
Pāvakaḥ,
fire.
fire.
Electricity.
Electricity.
Yat,
Yat,
where.
where.
Gatvā,
Gatvā,
going.
going.
Na,
Na,
never.
never.
Nivartante,
Nivartante,
they come back.
they come back.
Tad dham,
Tad dhāma,
that abode.
that abode.
Paramam,
Paramam,
supreme.
supreme.
Mama,
Mama,
mine.
mine.
Translation by His Grace, Divine Grace Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
The supreme abode of mind is not illumined by the sun or moon, nor fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return back to this material world. Purport. The spiritual abode, the spiritual world, the abode of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Kṛṣṇa, which is known as Kṛṣṇaloka, Goloka Vṛndāvana, is described here. In the spiritual sky, there is no need of sunshine, moonshine, fire, or electricity, because all these planets are self-luminous. We have only one planet in this universe, the sun, which is self-luminous. But all the planets in the spiritual sky are self-luminous. The shining effulgence of all these planets, called Vaikuṇṭhas, constitutes the shining sky known as brahma-jyotir. Actually, the effulgence is emanating from the planet of Kṛṣṇa, Goloka Vṛndāvana. Part of the shining effulgence is covered by mahat-tattva, the material world. Other than this, the major portion of the shining sky is full of spiritual planets, which are called Vaikuṇṭhas, the chief of which is Goloka Vṛndāvana. As long as living entity is in this dark material world, he is in conditioned life. But as soon as he reaches the spiritual sky, by cutting through the false, perverted tree of this material world, he becomes liberated. Then there is no chance of then there is no chance of his coming back here. In this conditioned life, the living entity considers himself to be the lord of this material world. But in this liberated state, he enters into the spiritual kingdom and becomes an associate of the Supreme Lord. There he enjoys eternal bliss, eternal life and full knowledge. One should be then captivated by this information. He should desire to transfer himself to the eternal world and extricate himself from the false reflection of reality. For one who is too much attached to this material world, it is difficult to cut that attachment. But if he once takes to Kṛṣṇa consciousness, then there is a chance of gradually becoming detached. One has to associate himself with the devotees, those who are in Kṛṣṇa consciousness. One should search out a society dedicated to Kṛṣṇa consciousness and learn how to discharge devotional service. In this way, he can cut off his attachment to the material world. One cannot become detached from the attraction of the material world simply by dressing himself in the saffron cloth. He must become attached to the devotional service of the Lord. Therefore, one should take it very seriously that devotional service, as described in the 12th chapter, is the only way to get out of this false representation of reality. In this chapter, in the chapter 14, the contamination of all kind of process by material nature is described. Only devotional service is described purely transcendental. The words paramam mama are very important here. Actually, every nook and corner is the property of the Supreme Lord. But the spiritual world is paramam, full of 6 opulences. The Katha Upanishad, Canto 2, Chapter 2, verse 15, also confirms that in the spiritual world, there is no need of sunshine, moonshine, or stars. Na tatra sūryo bhuti, na chandra tarakam. For the whole spiritual sky is illumined by the internal potency of the Supreme Lord. The supreme abode can be achieved only by surrender and no other means. Na tad bhāsayate sūryo, na śaśāṅko, na pāvakaḥ, yat gatvā na nivartante, tad dhāmam paramam. Om ajnana-timirandasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Harijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dīnabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyo Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
So here in this verse, Krishna is giving us an invitation to come back home to Golok Dham. So we have to travel. To go to Golok Dham, we have to travel from this material universe into the spiritual universe. Okay, so here we will see how we can travel to Goloka Vṛndāvana and what are the qualifications, what are the qualities needed to go back home, back to Godhead. Now we all know, right? Like when we were in India, we heard about this New York City. Okay, we wanted to travel to this New York City. Okay, so when we want to travel any city, first we inquire about that city, about what is that place, what I can benefit from there. Like in the material world, okay, now we want to go to New York, okay, for material prosperity. Okay, so we find out New York is the financial capital of the world. So everyone wants to go towards New York. So now what we do, now we first thing to go to New York is to have a desire. Okay, now I want to go to New York City. Now to fulfill that desire, one needs to work very hard. You know, one has to give so much, has to pass through so many examinations and then clear the test. Once you clear, you qualify, then you get the visa. You clear the interview, you get the visa, and then you fly to New York. So in the material world, we have to work so hard for material benefits. Okay, so similarly, Krishna says, come to my Golok Dham. Now, to go to the Golok Dham, we need to first know what is Golok Dham, where it is situated, and why we should go, right? So, and then Krishna has also mentioned how do we qualify to go to Golok Dham. Okay, we do not need any qualification, like do not need to be a doctor or engineer or scientist, but only and only what we need is devotional service. So if you see this Golok Dham, the center is the world where Radha and Krishna is residing on a golden throne with gems. Surrounding this throne is the petals, which is the dham of the Ashtasakis, and then the dham of the Manjaris. And the other petals in the Goloka Vṛndāvana, they are the dhams where the Lord Nitya Leela is going on in parallel. In Golok Dham, there is no concept of time. Everything is in present. There is no past, there is no future. Everything is present. And everyone has a spiritual body, which is Sat Chit Anand. So, what is Sat Chit Anand? Can anyone explain? Satya means truth, Chit is consciousness, and Anand is eternal bliss. Okay? Now, some more description about the Golok Dham. Now, we seen that in the Golok Dham, we saw that Sahasra Dal lotus, meaning 1,000 petals, abode of 1,000 petals. Now, Golok Dham is adorned with a divine lotus with 1,000 lentils, which looks like light beams. So, petals there look like beams. It's not like ordinary petals which we see here. When you see in the Golok Dham, you will see the beams coming out of it. So, light beams. Okay. Above the lotus of this 1,000 lentils is the lotus, 16 lentils. And then top of those 16 lentils is the lotus of 8 lentils, which is called the Ashtadal lotus. Now, Ashtadal lotus means 8 lotus. eight petals of lotus. In the central part of that Ashtadal lotus, there is a throne, a golden throne with gems, Chintamani jewels, which is sparkling. The effulgence that is coming out of that gems is far more better than Surya. Now, that the effulgence is so great that even Surya cannot beat it, right? So there is a throne with 3 steps, embellished with precious and supernatural divine gems. And on this throne, Lord Kṛṣṇa sits with Goddess Radharani. Now, relation between Ashtadal lotus and the Ashtasakis. Now, how do they relate? The 8 Sakis of Srimati Radharani are seated on these 8 lotus lentils, in which Lalita Saki, Vishaka Saki, Chitralekha, Indulekha Saki, Champaklata Saki, Ranga Devi, Sudevi, and Tungavidya. Okay. Now we will talk about the beauty of that Singhasan, of that throne. Here Radha Krishna is served by 8 Sakis as well as 8 Gopas. Chavars, the chavars which we use here, right, is studded with diamonds and are flown over them with white color fans like swans are flying. Now, here we say chavars are studded with diamonds. Now, what kind of diamonds do they use? Okay. Now, the costliest diamonds, if you take the costliest diamonds in the material world, is the Kohinoor diamond. Now, the cost of diamond is so expensive, it is more than $20 billion. If you go and purchase a Kohinoor diamond, it is not less than $20 billion. That is the worth. Now, the diamonds used here is million times more brighter, more shining, more illumination than this Kohinoor diamond. Okay. Now the way to reach to Golok even in Kali Yuga, Golok is a divine place that is accessible to the devotees of Sri Kṛṣṇa and Radha. Only one person can conceive and see the supreme abode in whose heart there is pure devotion and love. That is why the Golok is called the Dham of cows, love and devotion. Now, only person who can reach is a pure devotee. Now, if you take from the Shastras, can you name few devotees who went to Golok?
Parikshit Maharaj.
Parikshit Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj. Dhruv Maharaj. Srila Prabhupada. Okay. Chanting of Hari Nam by Mahamantra. The devotees who have become pure by the penance of years and absorbed in devotional service on Kṛṣṇa, of Sri Kṛṣṇa on this earth, have devotionals to Sri Kṛṣṇa in every breath. Shri Shri Radha Shyam Sundar ki jai, Shri Shri Nimai Nitai ki jai. Those who keep their mind engaged in Sri Kṛṣṇa all the time, while sleeping, while keeping chanting the name of Hari by Hare Krishna Mahamantra, day and night, all the karmic bonds of such devotees are destroyed. The attainment of Golok is easy for all such virtual souls who are beyond the illusion of Maya. Meaning, only those devotees which are not attached to the material possessions. We are not running after material possessions. Only those devotees can reach the Goloka Dham. Other than that, we cannot go. We have to detach ourselves. How the detachment would be achieved? By chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra with full attention, remembering the Lord with every mantra. And that's how you're going to reach. As you chant, your attachment to the material world would decrease and you will finally be eligible to go to the Dham. My Guru Maharaj says, Naam se Dham tak. So how we go to the Dham? From Naam, Roop, Gun, Leela, Dham. So when you chant the name of the Lord, seriously, okay, we chant sometimes, right? When we chant, sometimes our mind wanders here and there. So when you are chanting to the Lord and your mind is wandering, means we are not there yet. We need to do lot of practice to chant properly, like we do in the material world. When whatever things we need to achieve, right, in the material world, we work hard. Our focus do not move from here to there, right? For example, I'll give you an example. Like when you go to the bank, right, you withdraw $25,000 cash. When we take the cash, what we do first thing? Okay, now we have the counting machine, so we do not need to count. In the past, what used to happen when we withdraw that money, we count. When we are counting, you must have remembered, we do not look here and there. We are focused. Whether the $25,000 is correct, okay. Then we count again, making sure that we have the exact amount. We go home and again we give it to our wife, our children. Can you count? So much is the attachment with the material world, right? पैसा एक इधर का उधर हो जाएगा तो जान निकल जाता है, right? Okay. Now, when we chant, do we chant? We must chant similar way like when we are counting our money. That way, Kṛṣna knows our seriousness. Okay, he's chanting, but he's wandering here and then. Different thoughts are coming in our mind. So we need to bring it back. So we need to focus on each and every mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So now with this, what happens? When you chant the name of the Lord properly, with full concentration, without losing focus, right? Then Kṛṣna reveals himself, his root. As you chant more seriously, Kṛṣna reveals his guna, his qualities to that devotee. Okay? And then you know all the qualities of Kṛṣna. And then his Leela. So when you are chanting, Kṛṣna Leelas are going. Kṛṣna reveals all in Leela, what is happening in the Goloka Dham. You can see Kṛṣna from here, sitting chanting properly. That is the power of chanting. And then when you are able to see the Leela of the Lord, the pastime of the Lord, you become qualified to enter into the Dham. Because you believe now what we see is the truth. Now somebody say, okay, we do not see Kṛṣna. Kṛṣna kahan hai? Where is the Lord? We don't see. We don't believe. Material world, what we see is belief. Okay, we see New York City. Okay, so New York City is there. So we work hard. We see California, Los Angeles, we work hard. But we do not see Kṛṣna's abode. Okay, so we don't believe. Now one thing I have to say here, Kṛṣna is, if one says, okay, we cannot see Kṛṣna, Kṛṣna does not exist. One thing we must remember, Kṛṣna is not cheaply available. Kṛṣna is not cheap. कि आपने एक बार मंत्र कर दिया, that Kṛṣna will come in front of you and he reveals everything to you. No. So we have to practice. We have to make it realize. We have to make ourselves remind again and again that my chanting is not proper. We need to focus and improve. Okay. Now the power of holy name. What is the power of holy name? The power of holy name can destroy more sins than we can commit. Now, for example, but the sun doesn't get contaminated. Now, if we chant the name of the Lord, okay, our sins get destroyed automatically. But when we chant, we must make one thing clear, one thing we must remind. Okay, when we chant, we do not commit sin. Okay, we do not do Vaishnava aparadh. And if by chance, if there's a Vaishnava aparadh, we go to the devotee and ask for apologies. And once you have done that aparadh, we must remind ourselves that we do not repeat that aparadh again and again. Now if we chant and then again commit aparadh, then we chant and again commit aparadh, that way we will never return back home, back to God. Lifetime after lifetime, lifetime after lifetime, we will be here. Now, we see, right, we are under the rule of 7th Brahma and 7th Manvanta, right? And in 28th Kali Yuga. So how much time has passed? Do we realize? Do we not think, okay, we should go back to Godhead and do everything what is needed? Why? Because we heard the Shastras, but we do not have the faith, okay, that if I do this, we will go back home, back to Godhead. So now, Abhinatvam Nam Namino, the name of the Lord is more powerful than the Lord itself. How we can say that? When the Lord Ram's army wanted to cross the ocean to reach Sri Lanka, right? Lanka, to kill Ravan, okay, they had to build a bridge. Now, how do they build a bridge? Now, they started picking huge stones and they wrote the name of the Lord and put the stone in the ocean, one after another, and then they build a bridge. So Ram se bara, Ram ka naam. Krishna se bara, Krishna ka naam. So Krishna has manifested all his potency in his name. The chanting process of the holy name. Now, how does this benefit us towards moving towards the Kṛṣna? It cleanses sinful reactions. Okay, what it means, when you chant, all your sinful reaction is wiped out. But the condition is chant seriously, as serious as you count your money. Okay? Sorry. With this chanting, the chanting of the name of the Lord stops any sinful activities. Okay, what it means, when you chant, the sinful activities are stopped. But with this chanting, the chanting of the name of the Lord stops any sinful activities. Okay, what it means, when you chant, the sinful activities are stopped, but will be destroyed, and we would think in a positive way. We will not think anything bad about others. We will not we must think good we will start thinking good about others. Be happy in others' happiness. Okay. So it eradicates ignorance. So it gives us, okay, this, we are in Maya, the spiritual abode of the Lord is our original destination. Now it brings in devotion and prema. With the chanting of the Lord, our devotion and prema towards Lord Kṛṣna increases. Liberation from this world. As we are devoted to Lord Kṛṣna and our love towards Kṛṣna is increasing, we get liberation from the world. And we are taken to the spiritual world. Now this Krishna's invitation to come back home, back to Godhead. Now Krishna is giving us the invitation, come back home. The spiritual sky, as it mentioned, is not illuminated by sun or moon. What it means? Meaning, it doesn't mean, okay, sun and moon is not there. Sun and moon is there, but Krishna's abode is not dependent on sun and moon. Okay, so how is the Krishna's planet illuminated? Krishna's planet is illuminated by the effulgence coming out of the body of the Krishna. Okay, so that is how Krishna's abode is illuminated. And not even the effulgence from the bodies of Krishna, even Krishna wears so many jewels, the Chintamani jewels. The illumination coming out of those effulgence coming out of the jewels of Krishna, that is far more brighter, million times brighter than Surya Dev. So the spiritual sky, the effulgence that is coming from spiritual sky is known as, the effulgence coming out of Krishna is known as brahma-jyotir, which is also known as the spiritual sky. So we must remember, we talked about brahma-jyotir merging in the brahma-jyotir, right? It is nothing but the spiritual sky. Now the purpose of the human life is to serve the devotees, spiritual master, Sri Krishna. With this, we can exit the world and enter into the abode of the Lord. Okay. Now, before I proceed further, we would see what is Golok Dham, what is Hari Dham, how Golok Dham is divided, and how material world is created through Krishna, how the material world is created. So we will take a look at that. So if you see here, you can see clearly? Okay. So if you see here, in Golok Dham, Krishna exists initially, like even before the material world was created. Even before the material world was created, Krishna exists as the Swayam Rupa. Okay, 1 second, I have to read. So Krishna existed as the Swayam Rupa, his own transcendental form. Now Krishna wanted to expand. Okay, so Krishna is expanded. Krishna is Swayam Prakash. So he expanded as Swayam Prakash. Okay, and from that, his own expansion, he expanded into Balram. If you see here, Lord Balram is here. He expanded into Balram, which is known as Vaibhav Prakash, and the Prabhav Prakash, he expanded into Prabhav Prakash. Okay, so now what is Prabhav Prakash? Prabhav Prakash is the place, is the dham wherein Krishna resides with 16,800 wives. That is, he appears there as a Dwarika Shri Krishna. So in this, it is mentioned that every time, whenever anyone goes, everyone sees Krishna simultaneously in 16,108 palaces. So if Krishna expanded himself to 16,108, okay. And then Vaibhav Prakash. Now Vaibhav Prakash he expanded himself as Balram, Lord Balram. Now Lord Balram, and also Krishna also expanded himself as the Narayan. and which is the Narayan. And if you see Vasudeva and Devaki in Mathura, the pastime going there, which was done by the Lord in Mathura in the material world, that pastime is going there in Mathura Dham. Okay, now Balram further expands. Okay, Balram is Tat Ekam Rupa. Now with this form and transcendental emotions are differently manifested. Now Kṛṣṇa expanded into Swayam Prakash, and from Swayam Prakash, Prabha Prakash and Vaibhav Prakash, meaning Dwarkadish Kṛṣṇa and Balram. Balram is the Vaibhav Prakash and Prabha Prakash is Dwarkadish Kṛṣṇa with 16,108 wives. Okay. Now from Balram comes an expansion. Now Kṛṣṇa doesn't come every time to the Kṛṣṇa doesn't come every time to the material world to do the pastimes. So once in the day of Brahma, he comes once in the day of Brahma. Okay, and the lifetime of Brahma is 311 billion years. So once in the day of Brahma. So that way. So Kṛṣṇa appears. Okay. Now Balram expanded, is doing his pastime expansion to appear on the material world and give pleasure to the devotees. So now the Vilas pastime is known as the pastime expansion of the Lord. Now from pastime expansion is the Adi Chaturvyu. If you see this, Prabha Vilas is Adi Chaturvyu, meaning now from Balram expands 4 personalities, which is Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Anirudh and Pradyumna. Okay, now these are the forms of the Lord. This is the Lord himself expanded. Now in Treta Yuga, it is mentioned, the reference which I am taking from here is from Bhagavad Amrita, which is written by Rupa Goswami. So Rupa Goswami has explained all this, and also in Garga Muni, Garga Samhita has mentioned about the Goloka Dham, how it looks. So from there I have taken all this information. So you can reference and then read from there. So Balram expands into Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Anirudh and Pradyumna. So if you see on this left, it is still the Goloka Dham. Okay. So now from Balram, from Sankarshan comes Lord Narayan. So Lord Narayan is in the Vaikuṇṭha Dham. So now if you see Golok has Goloka Dham, Vaikuṇṭha Dham, okay, Jagannath Puri Dham, Mathura Dham, and also Golok is divided this way. So Vaikuṇṭha Dham on the left, if you see here. So this is the Vaikuṇṭha Dham where Lord Narayan has come. Okay, Lord Narayan further expands into Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna and Anirudh. Okay, and then it goes on and then Vasudeva further expansions, and then here if you go, then Mahavishnu appears in the Karan ocean. Now what is this Karan ocean in the world? Now Karan ocean is the marginal portion which divides the material world and the spiritual world. Okay. Now here you see is the brahma-jyotir. Now what is brahma-jyotir?
The spiritual sky.
Is the spiritual sky which is coming, the effulgence is from Kṛṣṇa's body. Okay. So now Mahavishnu is lying on this Karan ocean. So when Mahavishnu is lying on this Karan ocean, he from the pores of Vishnu emanates millions of universe. Okay. Now, to run this universe, okay, millions of universe, Mahavishnu enters into each of these universe, which is known as Garbhodakshai Vishnu. So each of these millions of universe has each Garbhodakshai Vishnu. Okay, and then from the Garbhodakshai Vishnu, we get the Paramatma enters into each living entity, which is known as Kshirodakshai Vishnu. So far, good? Okay, so Mahavishnu, from Mahavishnu comes Garbhodakshai Vishnu, and from Garbhodakshai Vishnu, we come to Kshirodakshai Vishnu. Okay, and then the further expansion happens. So this is, in short, about the material world and what is the difference. So material world, Garbhodakshai Vishnu is there, Kshirodakshai Vishnu is there. Now, what happens at the time of destruction? All the material planets is destroyed except the dhāma of the Lord. Mahavishnu merges into Sankarshan, and then Garbhodakshai Vishnu merges into Mahavishnu, Kshirodakshai Vishnu merges into Garbhodakshai Vishnu. So dhāma is never annihilated. Okay? And at the time of annihilation, where does this soul go? The people who have to take birth again and again. So they reside in the Karan ocean, which is between the material world and the spiritual world. And the devotees of the Lord who are detached and who is attached to the Lord, they go back home to Godhead. Okay. So now coming back to this. So now difference between expansion, sorry. Now comes the difference between the material world and spiritual world. Why we should not be in material world and why we should focus on the spiritual world. In material world is influenced by Maya and we have forgotten the Lord. We want to be the master and not to serve. So it was our initial position in Goloka Vṛndāvana. We rebelled against Lord Shri Kṛṣna, and then Kṛṣna asked us to. Then because we demanded that we want to enjoy separately, we came back to material world. Okay. Because we want to rule, we want to have power, position, fame. Okay, we see we are serving Kṛṣna. We had a desire. Okay, everyone should serve us. Why Kṛṣna only? So that way, Kṛṣna, said, if you want to go, you go. Okay, so and then we are stuck, because we are in the material world, we are stuck in the cycle of birth and death. Okay. Now what is in spiritual world? No one forgets the Lord. Everyone loves to serve the Lord in Goloka Vṛndāvana. Okay. When we are qualified, we enter into the Golok Dham, we serve the Lord. Okay. Golok Dham is aprakat. What it means? It means that it existed even before material world is created. So Kṛṣna existed even before material world was created. So that is why it is called aprakat, which is unmanifested. Material world is manifested. It is called a prakat. Okay, so when Kṛṣna wanted to come to material world to do the pastimes, he brought this dham down with Govardhan and Yamuna Maharani so that they can do that pastime. And that was Radha Rani's desire. That's why Kṛṣna came down with his entourage of all his devotees. He sent his devotees first and then he appeared. Kṛṣna existed in Golok Dham before material world creation. In Golok Dham, everyone is Sat, Chit, Anand. Okay? Not illuminated by sun or moon or electricity. Illuminated by effulgence coming out of the body of the Lord. Okay? There is no expenses or electricity or water expenses. Now here when we have to maintain anything, we need to pay expensive for electricity. When we buy a house, we not to pay. But there, we have to struggle also. But there, once you reach there you do not have to work hard to earn the money, to maintain your house. You get all that automatically. Everyone, each and every devotee in the Goloka Vṛndāvana has the same opulence as the other one. I will have the same opulence as you. You will have the same opulence as me. There's no difference. And what do you have to do to get that? Nothing. You do not have to work all that. What you do, now one will ask me, okay, then उधर जाएंगे तो हम काम क्या करेंगे? What are we going to do? There would be no work. The devotees in Goloka Vṛndāvana are super busy. Why super busy? Because they are serving the Lord in all forms. Like they are doing the chavars, and serving the Lord. They are preparing bhogas for the Lord, and so on. Okay, there are billions of Surbi cows. Hence the name Goloka Vṛndāvana. The name Golok is come from Surbi cows. So life in material world you would forget Kṛṣṇa. Devotees do not look upon him as a Lord due to the power of Yog Maya. In material world we forget the Lord, but in spiritual world we never forget the Lord. Gopas think of Kṛṣṇa as their best friends. Consider Kṛṣṇa as their gopis consider Kṛṣṇa as the lover. So they do not treat Kṛṣṇa as the Lord. Okay, now meaning if Lord comes in front of us, now suppose we are here, Kṛṣṇa comes, are we going to treat them as our friends or Sakha? No, we will pay obeisances, we bow down, we will do the arti, and then Lord will appear, Lord will be pleased. But in Kṛṣṇa, in Golokdham, with the power of Yog Maya, everyone is forgotten that Kṛṣṇa is the Supreme Lord. They play with him as if he is our friend, a best friend. Lord hides the Haishwarya, Shakti through Yog Maya. Kṛṣṇa dances on the tunes of the devotees. Only pure devotees who are selfless reach the abode. Now selfless meaning we have to be selfless. Now how we are selfless? We practice here. We are selfless. We qualify for that. We do not reach out to any person when there is a desire to reach. If I reach out to you for some purpose, Kṛṣṇa knows it. Okay, I came to Abhay Prabhu for some purpose and then I forgot him. So people misusing other people, they are not allowed. Okay. Even the dust in the Chintamani Dham, in the dust in the Goloka Vṛndāvana is Chintamani. The costliest jewel you can think of is there in Goloka Dham. Okay. So to sum up, I would say, I would like to end in a way basically to say that we must now realize, after hearing so much, we have heard so many instructions in this matter from so many elevated senior devotees. So we must put our full efforts that we detach ourselves from Maya, use everything, whatever we have in Kṛṣṇa's service, and this is the only way you can detach. Otherwise you will say, okay, I need to buy a Tesla, I need Mercedes, I need this and that. We would be ever stuck. The more we are attached to the material things, the more we will be in the material world, and we will be circling from upper planet to lower planets. We will go up to Brahma-lok, come back down, go to the Patal-lok, go to the hellish planet, and then we come back, and then we are in the 8.4 million species of life. This way we will never come out of this. So Kṛṣṇa has said, na tad bhāsayate sūryo, na śaśāṅko, na pāvakaḥ, yad gatvā, na nivartante, tad dhāma, paramam. He simply says, come to my abode. He's crying for us. We do not cry for him, right? That shows we are attached. So we must realize this. This is the human life we have got. We must make full use of this life, Whatever Kṛṣṇa has given us, we must be satisfied. If we are not satisfied, we want this, we want bigger house, we want bigger cars, we want lot of opulence, we'll be attached here. Now, if it is not wrong to have bigger homes, bigger cars, but when you have these kind of homes, invite devotees and serve them. So that is the way we'll be detached and go back to Goloka. So with this, I would like to end. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So I would also like to request that this month, December month is the marathon month. So Prabhupada had mentioned that I would be pleased the most if you distribute my books. Srila Prabhupada wrote these books. He wrote this book day and night. He used to sleep only 2 hours a day and he used to write these books. And Prabhupada mentioned, if you do not read his books, he will not be happy. So we should read his book. And the more we distribute books, more we distribute his book, the more Prabhupada will be happy. Srila Prabhupada even mentioned that the distributing and printing books is more important than building a temple. Okay, if you have an option from whether you should build temple or you should print books. So Srila Prabhupada mentioned print books, distribute books. That way you will bring more and more devotees into Kṛṣṇa consciousness, and more and more people will come into Kṛṣṇa consciousness, and the temples which we want to build will automatically manifest by the mercy of the Lord. If you please the spiritual master, if you please your Guru Maharaj, that is the best way to go to Goloka Vṛndāvana. Hare Krishna. So due to shortage of time, I could not...
If you take one questions, if anybody has. Question.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, very well researched your lesson is. I have a question. Where were we before coming into this world? Whether we were in Goloka or somewhere?
Okay, the first time when we were there, right? We were initially there in Goloka Vṛndāvana. There. Okay, but we had this desire when we were serving Lord Kṛṣṇa. Okay, we thought, okay, we also want to get served. Someone should serve us. So we had a desire to separate from the Lord. And that's why Kṛṣṇa said, okay, now if you desire, so be it. So that's why we came into this material world. Like for example, we were in India, right? We heard about this place called America, right? We said, okay, we want to go to America. We left our loved ones behind, our family members, parents, fathers, mothers, brothers, sisters. We come here, okay, and we wanted to enjoy separately. That's why we are here. So that is why we came here. Now, but Kṛṣṇa says, yad gatvā na nivartante, meaning once you come here, you do not go back. Tadda, meaning Kṛṣṇa says, now if you come here, you will never go back. So what about first time and now why? Because when we go back home, back to Godhead, Srila Prabhupada mentioned there's an exception. Out of the devotees, there's 10% exception. Devotees want to come down because they want to enjoy separately. Because Prabhupada says, we came once, now again we go back. When we go back, we had such chit anand. That way we remember, okay, that whatever we were there in the material world, what all we did, what were our previous birth, and what were our activities. So when we remember that, because we are the spirit souls in Goloka Vṛndāvana, we will never commit that mistake of coming back to Goloka Vṛndāvana. So we were there, we came down, again we are trying to go back, and it is not easy. It requires a lot of sacrifice. And once And more difficulties will come your way when you, as you chant, you will see more difficulties. And then you, Kṛṣṇa sees. If you are not, even in difficulties, you are attached to Kṛṣṇa, you will get the entry. Like how Dhruv Maharaj got, how Prahlad Maharaj got, how Sudama got, how Srila Prabhupada got.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I do have a follow-up question, but I'll ask
Yes,
you personally.
we can take.
Hare Krishna. Let's thank Dhananjaya Krishna Prabhu. Lord Hari Bol.